Welcome back to the Just Jana show. This is part 2 of the episode reading with my friend Jacelyn Holmes. And this is where we get really deep into the parts of Jacelyn that has been absolutely dimming her light. If you are somebody who has ever played small, pretended that it was okay when it wasn't okay, tried to make it that other people didn't see that you were too much, this episode is going to absolutely land for you, I promise. In the second half of this reading, we talk about how Jacelyn has spent much of her life trying not to be too much. As I mentioned in the last episode, Jacelyn is a triple Leo. Leo being the sun, we know, just having passed through the eclipse, the sun can't do anything except shine. So when you have 3 elements of Leo in your chart, there is nothing you can do but shine. And Jacelyn is radiant, as you guys saw in the last episode. She talks about how her siblings, the entertainment industry, and even past partners have been reflections and mirrors for this internal need to not shine too brightly. And this reading is all about me telling her not only are her siblings and her previous partners and the industry wrong, but all she needs to do is shine as brightly as possible. And then all of the things that she's hoping for, the career she wants, the energy she's calling in, the partner she desires, all of those things come on the other side of her being as bright and shiny as possible. I remind her that Leo is the hearth. It's the fire in the kitchen that is constantly burning. It is the warmth of the family. It is the place where everybody gathers to feel nourished, at home, safe, and comfortable. And for people in the world who don't know how to feel comfort without looking for or creating chaos, Jacelyn's essence of radiance and light is hard to be around. Those people are not her people, and we get into it in this episode. We also talk a little bit about her story of being the middle child. And this story is a story that, of course, we all tell in our versions of being human. I'm the oldest, I'm the middle, I'm the youngest, I'm an only child, I have this sibling and that defines me that way. These stories of how we've related to the selves that we have been pre this moment are stale. Those stories are outdated. They only define a part of who we are, and oftentimes they are the parts of us that keep us most limited. So setting new boundaries with those stories and with the people who shape them for us, namely our siblings, is a very important part of human evolution and evolution of self. And Jacelyn and I talk about that in this episode. We talk about femininity and receiving from the bigness of femininity, not just the soft, pretty, light, airy, feminine, Holly housewife version of femininity, but the version of femininity that actually creates, that actually allows for the totality of the expression of what it is to be a lioness, to defend the cubs, to be loud and proud, to provide and to lead in the ways that a lioness does. Also, how that allows for the right divine partner to show up when she's in that energy. We talk a little bit about LA and the city of angels and how it has been calling to her for so many years, and that the time for her to arrive there is upon us, and that she has so many opportunities, not only to achieve the success that she's desiring, but to reshape the entire industry from within as a woman who has been celibate, who understands her value, and who knows how to truly shine her light. This second part of this reading is really just a grand permission slip for Jacelyn to be as radiant as possible. I really tell her that everything she's looking for unlocks when she fully expands into the potentiality of who she really could be if she stops dimming her light. I reflected to her that her medicine already works. As soon as she opens her mouth to sing, to create, to guide, to teach, to do all the things that she does, inherently people receive something just from her light. And I tell her that being self-centered really is the point. She is such a generous person with her light. She is so giving and so eager to bring people into their own potentiality, their own manifestations, their own possibility, that by her showing up in her wholeness innately, she brings other people into that vibration. This whole reading in its entirety was such a gift to be able to give Jacelyn full permission to shine as bright as she can without needing to hold back. And that actually the parts of her that hold back are the parts that need to be shed in order to attract what she desires. I know you're going to love this entire episode, so please enjoy.
Some of the messages that are coming through are about the pleasure of pleasure without that experience being what pleasure is.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, my pleasure and my sensuality has really unfolded into all different sorts of things by not having the objectification of a tool like that.
Yeah.
Like lots of times I've never even had that tool with, and also like just even when you're in partnership, to see them as this is my pleasure destination, right? So much pleasure and sensuality and all of that. So many more things than just pleasure with this partner.
Right. Yeah. There is never going to be a reality check where you are not in some capacity the center of the universe.
I feel like I need to send just this clip to my family and just say, I'm sorry, like, but not.
A psychic literally told me.
I'm always really trying my best to.
That is it. That is it.
What?
That is it. You're trying to not be the center of the universe and to allow other people to orbit, to be in the center. And you, as this beautiful, bright light, you know.
But at the same time, still not dim my own light.
Right.
And that's a freaking dance.
Yeah.
That's a dance.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to say that I feel I've really mastered it. And life has become even more beautiful by being much more aware of that.
Including others in your centrifugal force.
Yes. And like really relishing and watching someone else shine much brighter than me in that moment, and or sharing in that brightness and like fanning them in their brightness, and taking a supporting role or even a backseat role in times. I really enjoy that. But it's not what's naturally unfolding a lot of the times. Like I actually have to almost control it to go in that direction. And that's coming from a place of, well, you've taken up too much space. You've shined too much.
Right.
It's not fair. You got, like, I'm also a middle child and definitely bookmarked by two siblings who I know they deeply love me. However, they're always like, fucking stop shining so much. I'm not trying to shine. It just is.
Yeah.
And that's a dance in itself.
Sure. And I've heard you tell that story in many different ways in the times that we've known each other. Specifically, I heard you tell that story when we were in the car in Sardinia. I heard you tell that.
About my sibling.
Yeah. And I've heard you tell it a couple of times since.
Yeah, because I also constellated my siblingness in the family constellations in January. I think I told you about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something my siblings have given me that lesson.
Sure.
And thank you to them for giving that to me. But I think you're right. So how do you step into that without allowing your ego to really
well,
fucking flounder?
You're like, with all this Leo, what do I do with that? Yeah. Look, you are a person, and there are few, you know, who mastered the awareness of creating your own reality. You mastered that a long time ago, right? You stepped outside of what everybody else was doing, and you were like, I'm actually going to go out there and I'm going to make my life, and my life is
Yeah.
gonna look the way that it's going to look.
It can be weird and wonderful,
Sure.
and you probably won't get it.
Right, right. And there is something about that when you put yourself in the center and allow for the world to move around you as you move through it, magic does happen. The part of you that is still telling the story of I incarnated as a middle child and I have been told to be small and I've been told, they both are fire signs. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're both Aries.
Yeah. So they are the spark and you are the flame. And so for them, it's this energy, it's a flint, right? And they're constantly creating sparks. They're constantly the thing that fires off from the fire, but you are the fire. And it's very interesting the way that you're talking when you were sharing about, you know, wanting to be dimming your light, or not even wanting, but, you know, putting other people in the center and stepping back from being the light. If the sun is made up of 100,000,000 candles, no one light is more or less bright than the other, but you've allowed yourself to be so bright in so many ways. And the way that you shine, it doesn't happen in sparks. It happens like a hearth. That's what Leo is, like the fireplace, right?
Yeah.
It's just burning, 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 and it's not moving anywhere. It's just stagnant. It's just there, being this place of warmth and goodness and light and, you know, creativity and alchemy and, you know, of nourishment, right? I mean, when you think about the hearth, that's the kitchen.
And love.
Right.
Yeah.
And so your attempt to be
It sounds so stupid, actually, not
right.
right. It's like, why are you doing that?
Right, right. And the answer that you give
What's so
somebody
silly?
gives you that answer, when somebody gives you that kind of question
From the judgment, essentially.
Sure.
Right.
you
Or just
immediately
being like, hey, like, you know, it was during the pandemic when people were
up in the house.
and I wasn't.
Sure.
And I was like,
Fuck being in the house.
and then people would call me like, how are you doing? I would literally like play everything so small because I felt bad that I knew what they were experiencing.
Sure.
And I actually, if I echo that in reality, most of the time, I don't feel safe to talk about how good life is and what the fuck is coming down the pipeline. But it's crazy amazing to everybody.
Well, and you're not supposed to, right? You're not. Some people will try to snuff the light out.
Right. I mean, here we got evil eye going on. You got
sure do. I
your
got
anklet,
multiple,
you know,
and,
like
and I have one up here.
because I know that I've been on the receiving end of that too. I've got really big, wonderful, powerful friends that, but I'm usually just so ecstatic for them and can't believe that that's happening. And I'm so excited. There are some times where I feel a little sting where I'm like, oh, I want to, you go into comparison and you're, oh, why don't I have that? Or what's held up in my life that it's not. So I've been on the receiving end of when listening to someone's big unfoldings, bright, big, total like dream situations. It can feel like it makes you smaller. Right. And so that's what I feel like I'm coming up against. And maybe my answers, but I also do, in all honesty, I find so much joy in watching other people shine or having another person that's like another hearth join the room, you know, and the space. And
yes, you
like,
do
it's
collect
really
those kinds of
cool.
people, I do know.
Yeah.
And what I like, you know, the thing that's really there in terms of attracting this partner that you're calling in.
Do you hear us?
No, it's like, it's actually something different. It's like allowing yourself in the right circumstances with the right people to really pour out that light in totality, like really share the parts of your life that are fucking alive and magical and beautiful. And, you know, like if you can't be unbothered by what other people are projecting onto you based on your magic and based on your goodness. He will not come to you because you're still shrinking. And you can attribute that shrinking. What I was going to say is every time somebody says to you, oh, you are doing that shrinking, you immediately come with, I'm a middle child and I'm this, and this is why I have to, or this is why I have in the past. But what you have been and what you are becoming are so oppositional to one another. They don't even exist in the same paradigm. They don't even exist in the same
So
realm.
now it's just becoming a stale story.
And actually, you're seeking evidence for it to be true still, but it's not true.
It's not true.
And so,
And it's actually quite the opposite. I think there's been one or two conversations I've had where I've had to let a project go or like move from working with specific people because they weren't able to deliver the thing that the thing I agreed to or agreed to go along the journey. And then the next ask is, what can you play small?
right.
Can we play? Let's play. They weren't saying let's play small.
Sure.
But what they were saying was
Not this way, much smaller.
smaller now.
Right.
And then the question is really, Jacelyn, I want you to be smaller. Jacelyn, I need you to be less. And we're going to do it this way. And immediately, like all full body, no, I will not play small. No. And I know that by saying to universe, God, and even an individual person, that is not what I'm here to do.
Right.
I am here to expand, take up space, shine supernova bright, and spread my magic all over the freaking world.
You know, it's funny that you say that because when I was watching you on stage, this thing came through, and it's actually why I said to you, I'd like to offer you this gift, because particularly that first night when you and Louise were playing and I was watching you on stage, that was the first time that I'd really seen you perform like that.
Right.
And really been in the gift of your voice and in the gift of what you do and how you do it on stage, which is miraculous. If you guys haven't listened to her albums or seen her perform, go ahead and do that.
Thank you. You had the biggest smile on your face.
I was so proud of you. And you know what? I kept hearing over and over and over again, you know, you were talking about how you had released this album into the pandemic, into like the vacuousness of
vacuum hole.
Yeah. And as we kind of come through that portal, because we are coming through
I
that
feel
portal,
it.
I know you do. As we do, one of the things that was very clear to me, and I've been saying this a lot about a lot of people, because there were a lot of things that people were creating and starting and beginning at that time that were sort of false start.
Yep.
You know, and so
it feels like
and there were a lot of
incomplete.
Yes. And relationships, of course, that ended, and things that needed completing first, and lessons that needed learning, and evolutions that needed evolving in community and collective and individual, all of the levels. I saw you on stage performing, and you were talking about that you weren't able to put this out there in the way that you wanted to and have the sort of visibility that you had hoped that this incredible album would bring to you. And the message that was coming through so clearly was the world was too dark, and you would have had to not only shrink, but sell your soul to be able to.
No, gracias.
That's right. Exactly. And I feel like God literally does what he always does.
I've avoided selling my soul to the entertainment industry several times.
I believe you.
And I didn't move to LA or New York City or London, England, like Nashville, even these places that I had the opportunity to just
land
there and for a variety of different reasons, just did not feel like
it was
the right time. To say yes. And I was scared and
well,
selling my soul and my body literally was part of it.
Right. Because you're like, actually, I'm the center of the universe and I'm not supposed to do that. Like, I'm the sun. I'm not supposed to give my light, my soul to any darkness. I'm supposed to be shining and making others more light and more beautiful. And your music does that.
Yeah.
And though, the message that was coming through was like, the world needed to see all that it's seeing, and it's not done seeing it yet because the repercussions haven't been repercussed yet.
Yeah.
But as it does get to that point, that's where your liftoff comes from. And the visibility of you and your voice and your light and your magic and your stories and your storytelling and the way that you tell stories and the way that you share on stage and the way that you give your medicine by being you, because you have built this really inclusive energy of like, I know that I'm the center of the universe, and so are you, so are you, so are you, and so are you. The way that you're being about it, the way that you've cultivated that, the world is almost ready for it.
So then the question is, where in the chart does it say,
You already know.
when is it happening? When is the world ready? It's so funny. I was just thinking of a video I watched the other day of me in a random competition at World Pride that was in Toronto almost 10 years ago. And I ended up winning a dance competition. I don't really think of myself as a dancer, but I just I was performing in front of thousands of people.
Sure.
And the guy that I was competing against in the final round was Mr. Gay World Pride. And the audience decides on like who wins through, and they were screaming so like it was just a burst, like fireworks of like cheering for me, and that's how I ended up winning. And at the guy's like, "Oh, you just beat out Mr. World Pride," and I was like, "It's just a world of Jacelyn," and everyone laughed, and like just like this, it was like I was so surprised of the reaction of people being ready to receive me on stage. And yet I wasn't surprised.
Of course.
Right? But I think that it was this space between the connection I had with this audience that I just met for the first time, within how much I was the underdog, but also playfully knowing that I can rise to the occasion. And that's basically what the whole story said. And that it was being able to be like, okay, hi, welcome to my world. And I'm glad you're enjoying it. And you get it. And that's why I won, right? So, and by me winning, we actually all win because it's all what we wanted.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And then you're like back into that collective stream of consciousness that it's like, we're all just playing the part that we came here to play. And everyone wins in that way. And not everybody gets to be the main character.
Sure. And on some level, we all are the main character.
Yes.
And so there is like, but the world was not ready for that consciousness at all in 2019, 2020, that it just wasn't available. People couldn't as somebody who's been talking about it for a very long time.
Yeah, but I don't even know when people are going to be ready. Like I feel it's coming. I feel like it's in the next 2 years.
Correct. The astrology of 2027, into the end of 2027, says that that is the turning of the Kali Yuga. It's the energy shift. It's the quantum human design. Human design is talking about it. Like this is this very pivotal time of conscious shifting in the world, and it's happening, and it's all unfolding. And it's all we're gonna get to the good part, guys. I promise we're gonna get to the good part.
The good part.
And the magic of your medicine of exactly that, of you can show up and win at life by showing up in totality. The more that you let yourself actually recognize who are the people that are sending you the light, that are sending you more energy of like, wow, Jack, that's incredible. Like, who are the people in the crowd smiling at you, being like, oh my God, you're doing it, instead of anybody else in the crowd who might not have that energy, or anybody in your life who might have the energy of smaller, please. on whatever level, unconsciously, consciously, either it's somebody in a business opportunity who's like, oh, don't do it like this, do it like this. And you're like, actually, I can only do it this or bigger. Thanks. And so a lot of it is allowing yourself to be as big as possible. And when you allow yourself to receive from that bigness, he will arrive.
I think that's a really beautiful takeaway, is to like allow myself to receive in that energy that I can sometimes say is, this is too much for people, like
Sure.
they must be thinking it's too much. Even though I'm like, I don't care what they think. This is me. Here I am, world. And from that place, receive.
Correct. People get into this very like, my feminine energy, my feminine energy. Feminine energy is also Kali. It's also fire and protective mothers and burning and the ferocity that is femininity. And that feminine thing that you were trying to be in year 2 was something that is it's so small. It's feminine from the place of like Holly housewife.
Yeah.
It's feminine from the place of capitalism, of patriarchy, of like what feminism should be, or not feminism, but just feminineness, what that female energy should feel like. And we want to say that our feminine energy is, soft and receptive and loving. And that's true. But feminine energy is also creation, and creation is huge and
wild.
messy. And exactly. Right. And so, being that feminine from the totality, from the bigness, that energy is what draws in whatever that divine partner is, who's like, holy fuck, who is this woman that is in her totality, that is in her fullness? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel deeply that this person, when he arrives, the moment he meets me, he will.
You both will.
Yeah.
Yes.
Me too. But he'll know that the magic and the specialness and the uniqueness that I am in the way that he receives me, that it's going to be very clear that I'm not letting this person out of my orbit now. Not in a weird stalkerish crazy way. Had that in the past.
I believe
so
you.
much fun.
Yeah.
And from that place, that because I'm able to be in my wholeness, right?
Right. And I want to say, we started this conversation about, where is it not magical? And you had said in relationships. I think, when you notice yourself allowing yourself to be in that totality, when you say no to the opportunities that tell you to shrink, or when you do dim the lights and be with your candles and be in your practice of being with yourself, then you can sort of like whisper to the universe, like, I'm being it, I'm doing it, and feel the magic of actually being in the wholeness of it all. And then, that will start to seep in, the gratitude of it will seep into the parts of you that are already experiencing pleasure. Like there is something in it for you, Jax, that's available. That's like, you could feel the same sensuality and pleasure and orgasmic experience being on stage, creating new creations, tapping in with things.
Absolutely.
Right.
100%.
Right. And so the more that you're that, the faster he'll find you when you get to the place that you land into, which I think you already know where you're going to land into. We've talked about it. I'm not even going to say it out loud. You know where you need to go.
Well, Angela. Yes. I need to go to the angels.
You need to go to the angels, but you need to go where the place is that everything is falling apart, and remind them that there is not only darkness in this industry, that you've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
And that there's
more than that,
right.
since I was a child.
Right.
2 years old.
Sure. Right.
which is it's funny in itself because a lot of people who have been in the entertainment industry since they were a kid, a lot of them are really screwed up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I had the
Yeah.
interesting gift to see, or that doesn't feel right, and take a break
Mm-hmm.
and know that I can just get up and do it again.
Right.
Or reinvent myself.
yourself
or a
back
new
in it.
project
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
No, although knowing
Yeah.
that momentum, when you have the momentum and it's cut off, whether it's by yourself or like a pandemic,
Sure.
whatever it is,
Yeah.
or you get blacklisted in the industry
Sure.
sometimes,
Sure.
and you then have to find a different art route to go in through.
Uh-huh.
For whatever the reasons is that you cut off that momentum or get cut off, that it does take a lot of energy
Fuel.
fuel and passion and drive
Sure.
to start it again.
Yeah.
And I think that in the past, where I'm not willing to sacrifice my moral, my values, my soul, all of this stuff, use my body, my looks, especially when I was younger, to move through the industry in an easier way or shortcut it. I think that this time, if all roads are sort of leading towards this destination that I've kind of known, that I will not be on my deathbed wondering if I had moved to LA and given it an elevated shot by just being in proximity, essentially, where everybody you're meeting, even your waiter, is in the industry, right? It's the same in Nashville, same in New York City, and a lot of places like this where you're just like, okay, it's like, this is where it is, based on proximity, that starting up again, essentially, is going to be a lot of energy, but it doesn't have to be hard work.
No.
And it doesn't have to be that. And also, I think I really believe in this saying of like character, timing, and capacity. And when all of those come together, the right timing, that your character is exactly where it needs to be, and the capacity in which you have to fulfill it and receive it.
Yeah.
It like spark.
Yes.
And then I just be the fire. That's what I know how to be. I'm
That's
just
all
going
you've
to
ever
do it,
been.
right? So it's like, okay, just trust the divine timing in all of this, because for me, I think timing has always been a very interesting one out of those three. I've usually arrived with the right character and the capacity to do it and receive it, but it's not been the right timing.
Yeah.
Timing is, out of those three, I would say timing has been the one that has been more interesting
Yeah.
in my life.
Well, I'll say this. When you land in there in the place that you're in, they're changing your face a little bit, which is interesting. When you land in the place that you're in this space of celibacy, in this place of purity, I'm getting soul tears, you will be untouchable in a way that is very potent. And so long as you don't lose sight of your true mission, which is not to find a man.
It's not.
Right. Correct.
Don't go to Australia.
Yeah. Actually, like, trust that really he's probably, if he's Australian, I know you just got a thing about that.
It's like a whole thing.
It's a whole,
Don't
I've
worry.
heard about the thing. Why they're doing this whole thing.
What does that mean? Sorry to cut you off. What does it mean to get soul tear?
Oh, just that there's like emotion that's coming up for me, for you about it. Yeah. Even if he is Australian, like I said, the likelihood that he's been sitting in Australia is 0. So don't go to Australia is correct. Go where you need to be and connect with whomever it is that you need to connect with.
I'm supposed to be there. Why did you feel that huge yes when you heard me say,
To what?
oh, I think I'm supposed to go to LA? And
oh, why did I hear?
Why did you hear
that I was like, yes, go to LA when you said it.
Yeah,
They're saying it in the funniest way. The time is almost nigh.
the time is almost nigh. Who's talking to you, Shakes?
Sometime. Yeah,
Like,
no, but that
and
really
like
is.
your time is almost up. If
Not,
you
no, not that way.
know,
Other way around.
okay,
The time is almost here. We're moving towards this thing.
got it. Maybe that's why I don't feel a sense of rush.
It's not a rush at all. When you get there, you get there.
It's like my
Just get
the
there,
story of my
baby.
life. I'm just like, people are trying to be like, oh, you're not
at the airport 4 hours early.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah. No, you're not here. Or like, you're not going to get younger. You're not going to get more beautiful. Do it.
But
No, I'm not. And
fuck
I'm
me,
like,
you don't know how my life's about to go.
see, I mean, you just said they're changing my face. Am I about to go get a bunch of work done?
So you don't even work.
No, they're changing your face, as in like they were the way that it was changing
Mm,
as I was in the distance. The peripheral view of you was shifting, meaning that your exposure and the way that people are seeing you is going to change too.
Mm.
You know, if I can speak it clearly and plainly as it is coming through, I imagine, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that for most of your life, people have seen you as you've chosen this life as like being self-centered and all about you, moving through the world, just worrying about you and your life and your career and your business and you. And then there's like this projection about it that you're so self-centered.
mm,
And I feel like you've spent a lot of your life being like working to prove that that's not the truth because it's not the essence of who you are.
right.
And perspective, like I say, it's going to shift because the understanding that you've mastered of I am just aware that I'm creating my reality and it's mine to create
Mm-hmm.
is the medicine that so many people need right now. Without understanding that you are creating your reality, you become the victim of it. And so, right? And so if people don't want to be the victim of their realities, they have to take the opportunity to create. You have to tap in with the cycle.
Spell.
That's right.
Create.
Yes.
And then
so,
something's going to stick.
Right.
And you're going to really love it.
Yes. And so if you're not
Yeah.
creating and tapping in with that psychic self and tapping into that part of you that is in your chart and in your life and in your magical existence, then you're living out of alignment with God. You're living out of alignment with your highest self, with the parts of you that are capable of making something magical happen in this world that seems like everything is
Absolutely.
dark in. So, you're just blazing a new path.
Yeah, I think it would also just like tap me a little bit, like what you said there about, and you said, let me say it even more direct and clearly is I literally have been trying to prove the hypotheses from the past and maybe even some present people thinking that it's you, self-centered, you, and I'm like, no. I'm just being me, and I think it's awesome. And why can't people really enjoy being themselves
They
and
don't
think
know.
it's awesome
They're not taught. So
and
you're
not
lead by
feel any
example.
shame
Jack.
or anything like that? However, I'm so hyper aware of, and part of it was, in my family unit,
Sure.
these people, we choose them
Yeah, of
to
course.
build who we are
Yeah.
becoming. But through that labyrinth, it's like, oh, like I'm actually really just tired. And in the sense of like, I'm so tired of trying to prove that I'm not so self-centered, that my confidence is just my birthright,
Maybe
But-
being self-centered is the whole point.
So I've literally said to myself, well, fuck it. What? Be what people think I am anyway. And you know what? And just be like, and just own it and rock it and be like, you know what? What's going to happen if I decide to actually
you wanna know what's
fully
gonna happen?
burst
I can tell you
into
what's gonna happen.
expansion?
So, you want to know what's going to happen? I can tell you.
What's going to happen, Jana?
You'll convince others through your art and through your performances and through the ways that you engage with people. You will convince others. You won't have to say it directly. You'll just be being it and you will convince
That's
them.
usually what happened. That literally, like, that was the call today.
Yeah.
Hey, but you remember that you just being yourself 2 years ago? how it created a ripple effect on my life.
Right.
And I just kept going back to that conversation with you and the reading from the astrologist that you referred me to.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. And then I just keep going back to remember to be inspired to just be my awesomeness. And I'm like, thanks for the call. I got to go and film a podcast with an astrologer. And what a beautiful little like seed to plant in me before I arrived here, when basically what you're trying to tell me, what every angel and guide is saying, like, hey, just shine that brightly and be fucking magic. And then therefore you will inspire other people to unlock that in themselves.
And like, by the way, for those who are watching, that's what I do. That's what being Just Jana is. I'm just the reminder of what the angels and the guides are saying to you. And so it has been truly a gift to give this to you.
I love you. Guys, so cool to be in your world, Jana, and with your audience, and hopefully something sparked an inspiration for you in whatever way or capacity.
Yeah.
Because that's really the whole point, is that we're here to be loving and lovable and spread our love in our unique ways.
I hope you loved that reading with Jacelyn. I know that I did. I absolutely felt so resonant telling her to flip the narratives of femininity, of shining your light, of creation, of being an artist and a performer. Even the story of her siblings and the way that she has to be small in the middle between them. I loved flipping it all on its head and proving all of that wrong, giving her the permission to be just Jacelyn in a way that is so potent and so powerful. She said she doesn't feel safe talking about how good life is. She said she's tired of proving that she's not self-centered when she is one of the most generous people. She said that she immediately reaches for the middle child explanation. All of these stories, so outdated, are rewiring themselves in her life now, months out from this reading, and I love it for her. She is stepping into a new version of being just Jacelyn, just as I am stepping into new versions of being just Jana. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this episode gave you permission to be just you, and we will see you again next week. You've just listened to the Just Jana Show. Whether you sat with me through a live reading or just let me talk my shit to camera, I hope something I called out landed for you. Share with me the one thing that shifted or a question you've got in the comments, or send this episode to someone who deserves to stop shrinking their light. If you're enjoying this kind of energetic reprogramming, please like and subscribe. If you want me to read beneath the surface of your life, apply to be a guest and get a live on-air reading at the link in the show notes. I'm Just Jana, and I'll see you next time.